Yes, I can see it's not finished. However, before the region packs drop, I feel like I have to show this city because, well, Cities Skylines 2 has been getting such a bad rap, and, well, I think you can do some pretty cool stuff with it. So yeah, this is my city. I don't have a name for it because I don't really know where the city's set, but it's... What I wanted to do was an absolutely huge European city because I wanted to make a huge metro, which, by the way, you can do custom metros, and no one's talked about it, so I guess I'm gonna be the one to talk about it. But yeah, it's really fun. Recolor mod is the savior of this city because obviously everything here is vanilla assets except what I'll get onto. But yeah, I thought I would just give a bit of a tour of the city. Here is what happens when you do a custom metro. I can't go underground. So the city is 460,000 people. I have 6 railway terminuses, which I will try and making custom. I use containers, and if we're gonna be honest, that looks horrible. But it's the best I got, and now that I've seen it so much, it doesn't even look wrong to my eyes. And then I started experimenting with the things, which looks like Euston Station in London. And then I saw someone made a post, and then I decided to use custom... Not custom. I changed one of the farming assets and turned it into a roof. So now I have a physically impossible roof. But I guess it looks a bit more realistic, so... yeah. The city has a collapsing demographic. I've got less than 50% adults and half as many seniors, which is a growing number, by the way. And our education is struggling on the elementary school. Half of the buildings in the city are elementary schools, and yeah, I've had to come up with some strange agglomerations of buildings just to cope. But on the whole, my main thing for this city was the transit, and the 140,000 people transported by metro must be a testament. Either way, I guess I'll do a quick tour of the city and then I'll do cinematics. So this is the first bit that I built. This, I kind of took inspiration from Altengrad, which is Acroas's series, like chronological series about a Central European city. And to be honest, if you look at it, you can see no parallels, but I just thought the idea of having an old castle that the city grew out from was a pretty cool idea. And it's pretty realistic, so I decided to do it. Then I built this area first. Yeah, so it was this area which was kind of the first one, and this was my first terminus. I'm not sure if it looks much different to the rest, but it was then the south of the city that I did, and the south of the city has probably the busiest stations. This area, when I still was getting 1,000 tourists and stuff, used to be completely packed with people. However, since the hotels patch, I'm only down to like 100 tourists, which is a bit sad. At least I think that's why. I built the first park of the city here, and one of the palaces. There's no palaces in the game, which I think for European cities there has to be, but I created this abomination. But at least it has a cool view of that gazebo. Sometimes view lines are really fun to work with, aren't they? Then the first suburb I did was probably this one, which obviously I was kind of going for a more eastern vibe, so, well, yeah. And ironically, even though this is the second suburb I did, I still haven't finished it. And it's still, well, to be honest, this is probably the most successful of the suburbs. And I can always recognize it from so far away with the 2 triangles. It looks so strange with such geometric patterns. However, I changed my style a bunch since. I created this sort of quick people mover system in this suburb, where I built shabby custom stations Although I really love how this one turned out, even though the actual train halt, I don't know if I can call it a station, is a lot less detailed. I tried doing a TV tower, but again, well, yeah, I'm sure it has its angle. And then I found out about, not found out, but I saw this sort of building template on a Warsaw map, which I highly suggest you look at. And I loved how it looked, especially with the almost like network-like roofs that they have. So this building ends up featuring a lot later on. So we've got this was the first time I used it, however I created a whole district of it over here, which probably now that you see it looks really repetitive. But that's not the worst, seeing as I've got this district here, which probably would be one of my favorites to live in. I love how it looks, and I love the colour. And then I used it on this side of the city. I got this, which sticks out really well from a satellite view. Obviously got the skyscrapers, which for me, I always like using smaller assets to look big rather than big assets to look small. But obviously in the game, we've got kind of two levels of skyscrapers. We've got a typical height, which is a building like this, which I need to select it. This building, for example, it looks, on its own, it looks about as tall as this, and if you're the skyline solely comprised of them, it looks really good, it looks really tall. However, in comparison to the actual tall assets, comparing this building to obviously the tall one, it looks so out of place. So I'm kind of upset with how the scaling doesn't really feel consistent. However, I'm still happy that I actually managed to get a cool looking skyline. I've also got two stadiums. I've got this district, which I'm not sure if I executed it well, so yeah. However, I tried basing it somewhat off of the Bijlmer Arena and the Ziggo Dome in Amsterdam, especially with the coloured buildings on the walk to the arena. For this I just used a warehouse, and I'm kind of happy with how it turned out. I've got another arena on the other side of the city. We've probably got like two opposing football teams, that's what it is. This one was the first one, and I created this metro station, which I love, even though it's completely bare bones again. By the way, when I say metro stations, I just mean a track that I put the integrated metro stop on and connected it with paths. It works, and in my mind, that's enough for a metro station. You'll see tunnels like this, which are literally just underground connections to the tracks. But it works, and it's really awesome how you can do that in this game now. So then probably finally on our quick tour, we've got kind of the really nice European looking buildings. So I've got this waterfront area here, including that custom building that I made, which has way too little windows for its size, but it's the best I could do. So we've obviously got these, which I imagine are palaces or something from a bygone era. We've got this building, which I love. I love how it sits, and obviously the spire can be seen. The lighting's not very good here, is it? And then I also have, I'm trying to remember. I've got this building, which I retrofitted into that style, because obviously these aren't buildings that you can get normally in the game. I had to create my own assets, which I think I'll show in another video where I did that extensively. But I'd probably say, yeah, this sort of, I imagine this is some sort of museum in a museum district. This was probably the most recent actual area of the inner circle that I've done as well. But yeah, I'm overall really happy with how it turns out. And it's fun trying to create a good looking thing, or a passable looking thing with such few assets. Sorry about the 10 FPS by the way, but 460,000 people, you know, and probably at least 100,000 trees. I'm kind of rambling now, so I'll just do some cinematics.